We begin with the politics of race, ethnicity, and religious tension. Here at home, the practice of racially profiling young black and brown men on the streets of the Big Apple ended with a federal court decision that declared the NYPD's use of stop and frisk was unconstitutional. Nationally, the white supremacist movement reintroduced itself to America with proud displays of racial hatred in Charlottesville, Virginia, and several anti-Semitic attacks, from the recent deadly kosher market shooting in Jersey City to other incidents in Pittsburgh and California. The last 10 years certainly proved that financial woes, large and small, can trigger severe political tensions. How else to explain the federal government's decision to take over the chronically ailing New York City Housing Authority?
The biggest issue here is we need to get as much money as possible.
Changing gears, the last decade was no stranger to political scandal. 3 big ones here at home. From the sexting controversy that brought down former Congressman Anthony Weiner, and who can forget Bridgegate at the GWB and Beachgate at the Jersey Shore, 2 scandals that ultimately ended the political career of former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. To be clear, winning elected office and forging a political legacy is not easy. That makes New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's political rise.
That's education equity.
And continued hold on power, now in his 3rd term in office, all the more impressive.
Make America great again.
And no matter how you feel about President Donald J. Trump, there is no denying his popularity with his own base, even in the face of a steady diet of scandal and controversy. The political waves of change never seemed to stop blowing through the last 10 years. Things came to a head during the 2016 presidential campaign as Democratic candidates Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders battled for the nomination.
I think you need to have the judgment on day one to be both president and commander-in-chief.
Similar political sniping defined the Republican primary race as then candidate Donald Trump duked it out with Senators Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and then perhaps most famously, attacking the bravery of late Senator John McCain before and after his death. Over the last decade, Americans with different common interests experienced their own political awakening. The Occupy Wall Street movement, born out of the pain and frustration over the role of big banks in the 2008 financial crisis. Frustration of another kind, purely political, led to the rise of the Tea Party in the early 2010s, the conservative wing of the GOP determined to limit the tenure of America's first black president to just 1 term. That was a failed effort. There were indeed bold moves made on the political battlefield. President Barack Obama broke with some 6 decades of U.S. foreign policy and reopened relations with Cuba. For his part, President Trump also made history as the first sitting U.S. president to step into communist North Korea. Uncertainty in a country and a world divided is how we are closing this decade.
I need that comfort, I need that support.
In spite of a number of mass shootings that claimed hundreds of innocent lives, victims and gun rights advocates are at a stalemate when it comes to significant gun control legislation. And we are closing out this decade experiencing what is perhaps the biggest example of the divisiveness in this country, the ongoing impeachment of the first term of President Trump.
We are not impeaching this president. He is impeaching himself.
House Democrats have branded themselves with an eternal mark of shame, and it really is. It's a disgrace.
The last few years have been defined by tribal politics and values, setting the stage in the next decade for a new era in American politics. Jay Dow, Pix 11 News.